And chat. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Root Double Before Crime After Days. Last time we had what may be our first actual story branch. What is the plot of this game? So, you play as the leader of a rescue team, professional disaster relief people, who go into a melting down nuclear reactor / research facility to rescue those survivors still trapped in there. But you get locked in, and you have to survive for 9 hours with mounting radiation and few anti-radiation drugs. The supply is dwindling. Also, you have amnesia, and children are psychic. There are, in fact, 9 persons. There's more than 9 doors, though. Alright. Area 1, B2, Inner Ring. Watase laid June down in one of the rooms. Moribe, are you okay? Can you hear me? June didn't wake up, no matter how much he called out to her. Watase could tell by the red blotch spreading on her clothes that the wound on her back was bleeding. Damn it, we need to treat her, and fast. Ukita quickly spoke up in a strained voice. Okay, Captain Kasasaki, then I'll keep searching while you treat Moribe. What? I want to find out who was behind those footsteps you heard earlier. You stay here and focus on treating Miss Moribe. No, you can't do that. It's too dangerous to go off by yourself. I know that, but isn't it also dangerous to put off the search? The clock is ticking here. Ukita was absolutely right. Watase silently looked at Ukita as the latter continued. Captain Kasasagi, I admit that I may just appear to be a civilian in your eyes. But still, I want to save everyone just as much as you do. But then I should be the one to go in that case. No, you're better suited for treating her wounds. Moribe will feel a lot more comfortable when she wakes up and sees that you're the one by her side. And besides, I know Labo better than anyone else in the group. I won't screw up or get lost by myself here. Ukita smiled as he said that. It looked like he was just bluffing, but Watase decided to trust what he said. Alright, but don't go too far, you hear? Watase gave Ukita their spare Procyon. Then leave the search of Area 1 up to me. Let us rendezvous up in Area 2 later. Does that sound reasonable? So Watase heard footsteps going up the stairs. They went up the stairs. A chunk of concrete with rebar sticking out of it fell on June. She fell down the stairs and got knocked out. And they are trying to stabilize her. Yeah, but be careful, old man. Understood. Ukita said that and quickly left the laboratory. Now Watase and June were all alone. Watase quickly looked at June's back. I want to use the Chiron to seal this up, but I'm going to have to take off her clothes to do that. Don't make it weird, Watase! Watase hesitated for a moment, then lifted June up slightly. Sorry about this, Moribe. He then reached out to zip down June's uniform, but the latter suddenly let out a scream. Yeah! Okay. Well, she's awake. We'll keep her dating sim values high. Whoa? Who's there? The hell are you trying to pull? Wanasei frantically called out to June as she flailed about wildly. Calm down, it's just me. Your back was injured, so I was trying to treat it. What do you mean my back was injured? Ah! Ow! June's body writhed in agony. It seemed she just noticed her own wound. June said she was about to get in a weird fan-servicey cutscene and woke up in sheer horror. Yeah. So, well, you see, I'm sorry, but you'll have to remove your clothes so I can seal up the wound. Oh, well, in that case, guess we've got no other choice then. But don't be surprised about what you see, okay? June said that in a defeated voice, turned her back to Watasei, and unzipped her uniform. June didn't hesitate for a moment as she removed her uniform, then took off her blood-stained t-shirt. Her back was now exposed. Don't make it weird. Oh, that's a hell of a scar. Were you in the collapsed building with Nagisa? Watasei had thought she was short-statured, but only now did it hit him just how small her body was. There was a wound about 2 centimeters wide, bleeding below her right shoulder blade. But that wasn't what caught Watasei's eye. There was a wide scar that looked like a badly inflamed skin that spanned from her right shoulder to about halfway down her back. Is this a burn scar? It was clear that she hadn't gotten it recently, but rather a long time ago. That's how scars work, yes. Well, burn scars, maybe. Captain, hurry up. Right. Watasei quickly spread the Chiron on June's wound at her urging. You gotta bandage it at least. June's body twitched as if she were being tickled. Sorry, Morime, but put up with it for a while. Watasei said that and continued treating her. June's wound finally closed up after Watasei had used half the tube on it. Done. June let the tension out of her shoulders when she heard that. Her back was sweaty, dyeing the burn scar a pale crimson. Does it bother you? No. Sorry. No, don't worry about it. I'm letting you see it because it's you. There was a faint hint of expectation in her words. Watasei decided to take her up on that and satisfy his curiosity. Say, how'd you get that burn scar? It's pretty obvious you've had it for quite a while. I got it in a gas explosion accident 10 years ago. She was in the same building as Nagisa. A gas explosion accident? Watasei was taken aback. That's right. Kazumi's little sister had died. Morime, don't tell me you were there when it happened. June quietly began talking. Yeah, I went to visit Nagisa at her apartment that day. The two of us were just playing around when all of a sudden we heard this noise so loud that it felt like my ears were going to burst. By the time I came to my senses, we were trapped under rubble. We couldn't move around, and no one came to help, no matter how much we cried for it. So that burn scar was probably from then. June continued in an awfully low voice. Eventually, help did come, and Nagisa and I were saved. Has her wound already absorbed the whatever the hell it was called, starts with a C, and closed up? Magic ointment. Chiron, that's the name of it. Eventually, help did come, and Nagisa and I were saved. But Nagisa had been hit on the head, and she passed away 2 days later. I see, so that's what... Watasei let his voice trail off as he remained unsure of what to do. June continued, without a hint of sorrow in her voice. I loved Nagisa, you know. She was so pure-hearted, kind, and considerate. I always felt like she was my salvation whenever I was with her. So when that accident happened, I wanted to do whatever I could to save her, but I was totally powerless back then. June gritted her teeth in resentment toward her past self. Watase understood everything when he saw that look in her face. So that's why you became a rescue worker? With that small body of hers, June was not suited to be a rescue worker in any definition of the term. And yet here she was. How much had she put herself through to make her body fit enough to become a rescue worker? Well, she doesn't seem very muscular. Watase felt true admiration for that ironclad conviction of hers. She doesn't seem very muscular, but that's moe anime girls for you. So you entered this line of work for the same reasons as Tachibana, huh? Yeah, well, there's more to it than just that, but yeah, it was the biggest reason. I don't want a repeat of that day ever again. I don't want my powerlessness to stop me from helping someone close to me, not when they're suffering right before my eyes. This burned scar is a symbol of that time in my life where I was weak. So I thought I'd never show it to anyone except someone I completely trust. But I never thought that someone would be you of all people. Funny, huh? June gave him an awkward smile. Watase understood painfully well just how significant this scar was to June. So he also forced a smile and answered her. No, I don't deserve that right. Not after I let you get hurt like that. What are you talking about? We're buddies, so a few scratches here and there mean nothing, right? Buddies, huh? That was right. Watase remembered the promise they'd made just before they ran into that contaminated zone. He and June were partners who held a mutual trust in each other. I'm surprised you're calling me that. I mean, I've just been an unreliable greenhorn who let his squad mate get hurt. You're not unreliable. If you were, then I wouldn't have shown you this scar that I've never let anyone else see. Even Kazumi? I did it because I have high hopes in you. So please don't do anything to betray my hopes, you hear? Yeah, you can bet on that. I'm sure I'll run into game overs related to you at some point. Yeah, the BGM is not always appropriate in tempo or tone. Absolutely, positively. I keep my promises. I'll keep living up to the trust you've put in me, as your buddy. June then gave him a tender smile. Thanks, Captain. You really are a whole lot different today, you know that? Well, I'm only half as efficient and persuasive as I normally am, but bear with me. No, that's not what I mean. I mean that you're much kinder and gentler than normal. Huh? Watase's heart leapt at those words. Was I a dick? A small blush crossed June's face. Hey, maybe you'll get mad at me for saying something like this right now. But I like the you of today. Much more than I do the normal you. Watase gulped loudly. To receive such honest affection from a girl 12 years younger than him, there was no way he wasn't happy about that. And to be clear, he's like 34, so she's in her early 20s. But any more than that left him at a loss. What are you talking about? I'm 32 years old. I'm an old fart compared to you, you know? I'm sure there's someone much more suitable for a young girl like you. You dummy, that's not what I meant. I meant that I'm happy to be teamed up with you as your buddy. Yeah, Watase, come on. Phew, don't startle me like that. Oh, why so flustered? Did looking at my bare skin fill your head with dirty thoughts? Is that why you interpreted what I said that way? You are being very vulnerable, June, but yeah, that was a little weird of him. Hey, I'm still a guy. I can't help it, right? Watase and June shared a laugh. Laughs filled with such peaceful emotions that almost didn't match the life-or-death situation they were stuck in. With her treatment completed, June put her clothes back on. Honestly, I wish you could stay this way forever. Huh? But I'm me. That fact will never change. Well, yeah, but it's just... I worry that once you get your memories back, the you I'm looking at right now will be gone forever. The words June blurted out held an ominous ring to Watase. But he quickly shook it off. Don't talk nonsense. I'll never go away. Not without your permission, that is. Well, Watase, if you get your memories back, you'll probably be the old you. Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Watase gave June a reassuring nod to drive away her fears. They then looked at the time to find that they'd been in this room for quite a while. Wait, Totally Spies is a French show? Huh. Oh, crap. This isn't good. Old man Ukita went on ahead to keep on searching. Huh? By himself? We promised that we'd meet up in Area 2. I need to get a move on fast. Then I'll come with. June then tried to stand up, but she staggered on her feet. French for the first 2 seasons, Canadian for the other 3. Huh, interesting. No, you just got hit on the head. Just rest here for the time being. Splitting up the party is not the best idea. I'm heading in the direction of Area 2. Catch up to me once you recover. Okay, I'll do what you say. Yeah, see you later. Watase waved to June and left the laboratory. This isn't a laboratory, this is an office. Reusing the backgrounds, the limited backgrounds in this game, is so awkward. He ran over to Area 2 as fast as he could to make up for the lost time he'd spent treating June. Area 2, Inner Ring, B2. Watase was now directly opposite of Area 5, where he and the others had split up. He had half expected to find Kazumi's team wandering around here, but they were nowhere to be seen. I sure hope they didn't get into any weird sort of trouble like we did. If he maintained his assumption that June's injury had been no accident, then it was only natural for him to worry about the others. No, it's okay. Tachibana is more than capable of dealing with whatever's thrown her way. Watase shook his head and resumed his search. Only Kazumi and June had searched the place the first time through. This was also where their makeshift base was set up. It had been ages since anyone had last checked the area out. There's also more than enough room to believe that the survivors are constantly on the move. Watase quickly carried out his search with those thoughts in mind. Huh? But a nameplate labeling one of the rooms caught Watase's eye. Is it Ukita's room? Reference room. A room he'd never visited before. Could there be a hint about an escape route in here? Watase headed into the room with that thought in mind. Oh, are June's AD ampules okay? She didn't take a spill, and they're easy to break. It was a small room, about 5 meters in width. That entire space was almost completely filled with steel bookshelf upon steel bookshelf. Oh, excuse me. There was a switch attached to each shelf, meaning it was most likely a movable type of bookcase. Yuri's not here, huh? Does she look like a bookworm? Once he'd confirmed that, Watase's eyes turned to the bookshelf. A crammed line of books and essays were sitting there. An Introduction to the Informational Field Theory. Author, Miyoko Tenkawa. Elementary Particles, Information, and Consciousness. Author, Miyoko Tenkawa. So they were experimenting on psychics in this place. They were experimenting on psychics in this place. That's what the brain research lab was about. ESP Synchronization Hypothesis. Author, Antoine Courbet. Translator, Miyoko Tenkawa. Cerebrum, Labyrinth of Physiology. Author, Ryoken Kashiwagi. Unbinding from Pseudoscience, The Future and Prospects of Parapsychology. Author, Koki Sumida. Before Crime, After Days. Author, Chikagi Sonomura. Ooh, title drop. That one's going to be relevant. Particles, The Mind and the Brain. Author, Shuya Eriguchi. Is it not going to be relevant? Was it just a title drop? Wanase looked at all of their titles. I don't get them. Wanase had no knowledge of science in his current state, so he hadn't the slightest clue what they contained. Now that he thought about it, the two main themes researched at the facility were nuclear power and biology. Either way, all he knew was that there were a lot of biology-related books in there. But there was a familiar name amongst all the authors listed. Miyoko Tenkawa. If his memory served him right, that was the name of Natsuhiko Tenkawa's mother. Your memory does serve you correctly. And when he saw those books, a strange anxiety welled up in Watase's chest. Watase was puzzled. Why would looking at books make him feel anxious? Because you've got a passenger in your brain who doesn't want you to look at these books. I know this isn't the time to be doing this, but Watase couldn't go against his feelings, so he took one of the books and flipped through it. An Introduction to the Informational Field Theory. Forward. In modern physics, all phenomena that shape the natural world can be explained with four fundamental forces. But there are phenomena such as the accelerating universe and so on that cannot be explained by these four fundamental forces alone. It has become clear from recent high-precision observation that the rate at which the universe expands accelerates with time. It is from that survey that the theory of an unknown energy known as dark energy, repulsive gravity, was born. But if dark energy supposedly does exist, then what is it? Various conjectures have been conceived, but they are all merely speculation. Thus, I continued to look into that force from the perspective of an elementary particle physicist and formulated a hypothesis. Could it be information? If a fifth fundamental force does indeed exist, there is a high possibility that it is in fact information. I used a numerical formula to express the equivalence of information volume and energy. Then, after deriving its value, I discovered that said value completely matched up with the rate of universal expansion. In other words, Watase had no clue what he was reading. The amnesia is frustrating because this is interesting. And he's going to discard it. How old is this game? 2012, I think? So after 999. It's by somebody who worked on 999, I believe. Watase had no clue what he was reading. Fifth fundamental force, information, dark energy. The hell's all that? They worked on the Infinity Trilogy with Uchikoshi. Ah, okay. I don't know what that one is. He still had no clue why he'd felt such an intense anxiety from this book. Was it just my imagination? Watase wondered that as he flipped through the pages and kept reading. The following conjecture is based off this theory. Even information itself can exist independently and can possibly interact, be conveyed, without the use of other forces as an intermediary. For example, since a human's thoughts are a type of information, they can communicate with others without the need for those thoughts to be converted into another medium, such as electrical signals. This is a somewhat extreme expression I am using here, but this is the gist of the informational field hypothesis. The informational field is the place where information operates as the fifth fundamental force/energy. If we are to consider this by using the human brain as an example, the informational field generated from thought information may in fact be what we call the consciousness. So your mind makes it real. It is still unclear as of this point as to what the process that creates a consciousness entails. Was this written before or after psychic kids started showing up? All we do know is that a consciousness is generated inside the brain when countless memories equals fragments of information and electric signals running through the synapses interact. However, another conjecture can be formed when you think on the basis of this hypothesis. If information can exist independently, then that means a consciousness does not necessarily have to form in a brain. If a fixed amount of information gathers in one spot and interacts with each other, a consciousness can be born right then and there. Furthermore, if information can be controlled, then it should also be possible to artificially create a consciousness. That's what this facility is actually researching and what's in Area N. Yeah, this isn't making any sense to me. What kind of research does this Miyoko Tenkawa person do? She'd called herself an elementary particle physicist, but he got the impression this research had more to do with biology. But to create a consciousness? Why would anyone want to do that? Why wouldn't they? Why do people have children? The act of creating life is an appealing one. Also to see if we could do it. What does research involving creating a consciousness have to do with nuclear power and biology? He wasn't sure why, but he felt a faint, ominous sensation. Despite that, he continued to read more of the book, and then gasped. In conclusion, the various theories laid out in the informational field hypothesis have yet to be proven, but this thesis has been reappraised in a form I never once expected. This is all due to a rapid yet drastic change that has recently swept society. That change is the manifestation of BC. BC? Come to think of it, Enna had mentioned it before. She'd said that it wasn't all that rare for there to be people who could use telepathy these days. Watase continued to read. The ability known as BC, has been widely acknowledged by society in the last few years. It can be said that this has resulted in mindsets towards the nature of information and ways of communication to undergo tremendous changes. We have also discovered countless people who possess this ability that we never would have conceived as feasible mere years ago. The abilities of BC can generally be classified into two groups. The first one is telepathy, the ability to directly send your voice to another's mind. The other is empathy, the ability to read the voice of another's mind. By describing these two abilities with these extremely coherent terms, we can explain them separately. Extremely coherent sounds a little sarcastic, but I understand perfectly. When BC is used, the user's thought information is not converted into another medium. They communicate with their target by sending that thought information directly into their target's brain by using elementary particles as an intermediary. This matches up with what I proposed in my informational field hypothesis. Two completely unrelated fields of study, parapsychology and elementary particle physics, are connected by BC. Furthermore, while telepathy practitioners are still few, empathy practitioners are even rarer. But the true number of users is not what's important here. It's the fact that an ability such as empathy exists. And also the fact that the existence of information, known as the voice of the mind, can be observed by others, despite previously being unknown to those other than the thinkers themselves. This is indeed the first and biggest paradigm shift of the 21st century. What? The words laid out before him were almost unbelievable. He'd already heard about the ability to directly send one's voice to another's mind. The problem was the other ability. The ability to read another's mind? He then remembered what Enna had told him earlier. It is essentially the ability to mutually communicate your ideas to people far away, nothing more and nothing less. I see. So when she said mutually communicate, she didn't just mean sending your thoughts, but also reading other people's thoughts too. Then the stuff in this book isn't just some pipe dream. Watase looked at the bookshelf in shock to find that many of them had the phrase BC in the titles. Apparently, it really was considered a completely normal thing. Well, normal is relative. Though there were very few of them, there were indeed people out there who could read others' minds. Just then, Watase finally realized the truth behind his anxiety. I see, so I was scared of this empathy ability? He didn't know exactly why. Maybe he'd had a really frightening experience with it before he'd lost his memories. But even if that weren't the case, he didn't feel like there could possibly be anyone who was okay with having their mind read by someone else. Yeah, it's a pretty horrifying thought to have no private internal thoughts. No, what if at this very moment someone is reading my mind and can hear my fear of having my mind read? Watase's body shook violently in the face of that abrupt thought. And though a lot of BC users are kids for some reason, adult BC users are as rare as a hen's teeth. If he were to trust what June said, then that probably meant none of the adults in the group were communicators. But what about the children? Could Natsuhiko read minds? Mashiro? Salyu? And what about Yuri? Teach said that Natsuhiko and his friends could use telepathy. Excuse me. Then isn't it naturally possible they can use empathy too? You missed June's naked back. Now that he thought about it, several suspicious events had occurred. Why had Yuri run away from the group? Oh, maybe she read the mind of one of the others and realized that they were a terrorist. Why had Salyu fled from the group back then? Why hadn't they found the 3 survivors yet? If those kids can read people's minds, and when you take into account they've been running from us, then maybe one of us hates them and they know it. He didn't want to believe it, but it all added up. If that were the case, then who was the one who hated them? It wasn't Watase, at the very least. He knew that better than anyone. So it's one of the other 4? Once he thought that, every single one of them quickly seemed suspicious in his mind. Okay, let's go over the party members. So Ukita seemed genuinely upset by the kid's death. So he didn't kill her. Ukita didn't kill the kid. He recognized her. So I don't think he hates the kids. June and Kazumi don't have a reason to hate the children. Unless they've had a bad experience with mind readers in the past. Enna is the big question mark in the group. Her excuse for being in the facility is flimsy. Wait, but Kazumi and June know these kids. Do they resent the children for some reason? But Enna's the big question mark. Enna is the big question mark. What the hell is she doing here? Summoned by a researcher? If she is a teacher, she could have been summoned because of the... She could have been summoned because of the kids, but she could just as easily have been making it up and have researched the children who are being researched. The thing of it is, neither Ukita nor Enna were on the list of people that the surface base radioed us about. Neither of them. Enna was with June and wanted to say when the blonde ran away from them? Ah, that is extra suspicious then. So why were the kids here? Did Natsuhiko's mom summon them to study them? Have they been here on a regular basis being studied? No, I don't think they gave us a reason why the kids were here either. Shy, did they give us a reason why the kids were here? No, they didn't. Okay. So there's question mark number 2. Well, I guess that's question mark number 3. Enna is question mark number 1. Ukita is question mark number 2. What the hell the kids are doing here is question mark number 3. The kids were definitely being studied, and by Natsuhiko's mom to boot. Here's the thing about Ukita. I think he's lying about his clearance level. I think he's much higher up the food chain. If he is a researcher, and he's not lying about that, I think Ukita is much higher up the food chain than he lets on. This is good thinking music. Okay, so Anna knows the kids. Like, independently. Unless she's a mind reader. Anna knows... Oh, it's possible Anna's a mind reader, actually. It's possible Anna's a mind reader. Yeah, she says she's their teacher, but we don't know that for certain. And it's quite possible that she's lying about that. If she's lying about that, she'd have to have done some research about the kids being studied here. It could, if she's not their teacher, it could be as simple as her being from a rival organization looking to steal research secrets. We've had no information backing up that Anna is their teacher, except that she knows their names and faces. I think Anna is lying about why she's here, and I think that Ukita is lying about his clearance level. Those are my solid theories at the moment. Tachibana was named by home base in one of the message, like Tachibana was mentioned by name in one of the calls from home base. So she is part of the rescue team, and therefore so is June. Later, Crow. Right, Shy? Kazumi was mentioned by name by home base in an earlier radio call. Both her and June were mentioned by their superintendent, yeah. So, unless they've killed Kazumi and June, and taken their places, and that's not actually Kazumi and June, they're on the level. They would both have to be faking... They would both have to be faking, and they've given too much information and sincere reveals about their past to be lying about who they are. Also, Kazumi's reaction to the dead kid was too genuine. And on top of that, Kazumi and June are very professional and competent at the rescue work itself. So they're part of the rescue organization. June and Kazumi are on the up and up. Okay. Kazumi and June are on the up and up. Anna's lying about why she's here, and Ukita's lying about his clearance level. Those are my solid theories for right now. Once he thought that, every single one of them quickly seemed suspicious in his mind. His anxiety swelled up like a balloon, and his heart started racing faster and faster. Doubt begot more doubt, but then it soon came full circle. No, wait. Maybe it's the other way around? What if they're the ones who hate us? Those kids who could read people's minds were filled with malice and tried to back Watase's group into a corner for some reason. Maybe that was just an absurd theory, but if it's true, then can we fight off guys like that? As soon as he thought that... Uh-oh. A sudden headache ripped through Watase's skull, causing him to groan. Ugh! His consciousness started fading as he grew incredibly dizzy. This is bad. Watase staggered his way out of the reference room as quickly as possible. Watase hurried into a nearby restroom once he'd left the reference room. Agree with the rescue workers being legit, but I'm not sure about the others. Anna seems more likely. My theory about Anna, you mean? Yeah. Watase hurried into a nearby restroom once he'd left the reference room. Oh, hey! Finally see myself in the mirror! He turned the sink faucet on with all his might and washed his face with cold water. Wait, restrooms aren't on the floor plan. Where am I? But his headache didn't get any better at all. Not another headache. Wait, could this be an effect of radiation damage? It was at that moment that he remembered something Kazumi and the others had told him. There's a possibility that tap water's been contaminated by radiation. You could get internal radiation exposure just from drinking it. Shit. He'd been washing his face with that stuff. Watase frantically wiped his face to make sure none of the water got in his mouth or nose. But his headache still hurt just as much as it had before, and soon he was assaulted with anxiety and fear that made him feel even worse. Watase vomited into the sink. His stomach was empty, so all that came out were gastric juices. A heavy sense of fatigue weighed down his whole body. Damn it, I'm thinking about way too much at once. Watase gritted his teeth. Being trapped in this hellish environment was bad enough, but now strange incidents were happening, one after another. People had either died or been killed, and on top of that, there might be monsters out there who can read people's minds. Watase was extremely confused. At that moment, countless disconnected images flashed through his mind as if they were conspiring with that confusion. Who are you? I guess you could look at it that way too. On a bus? How do you know our names? Because a whole lot of communicators, people who can use BC that is, have been coming to this city. Who is that? What was all that? It felt like there had been images he didn't recognize mixed in with that one of Yuri. And that Natsuhiko Tenkawa and his friends, the very same people they were looking for now, had been in them. Why? Have I seen them somewhere before? Or it could be somebody sending you those images into your brain. He didn't know. He couldn't tell if they were his own memories or not. But as Watase was driven to the brink of confusion by these mysterious images. That's enough, Watase Kasasagi. Don't think too deeply about it. It was the first time in ages that he'd heard that auditory hallucination. Watase was overcome with astonishment when he heard it. Wait, could this auditory hallucination be trying to control me? That suspicion expanded to immense proportions in one quick moment. No, what if someone's been controlling me this whole time? Then who is the me that I've thought was me up until now? Watase looked at his face in the mirror as he was seized by that primitive fear. What if this Watase is a consciousness that was generated by this research facility that took over the real Watase's body? That's an interesting thought. Reflected in there was the face of an unfamiliar man he didn't recall. Watase felt whatever had been keeping himself sane up until this point start to fall apart in an instant. Kazumi, Jun, Enna, and Ukita, adults who possibly held some sort of malice against the survivors. Yuri, Salyu, Natsuhiko, and Mashiro, children who possibly wielded a mysterious power. And himself, a man with vague memories and a will that might not even be his own. Damn it! What or who should I believe in? Just as Watase started harboring doubts towards everyone, himself included. Oh, hello. You're overthinking things, Watase. Do that and you'll just wuss out to the point where you won't be able to make sense of anything anymore. Watase blinked. It felt like someone else's face was in the mirror. But all he saw there was his own face. Was that a little sister? What was that? Who was that? Perhaps it was a type of audio-visual hallucination, or maybe a flashback. He wasn't sure, but when he saw that face, he'd felt a mysterious sense of nostalgia come over him. Don't overthink things, huh? His heart calmed for some reason when he muttered that. Watase felt as though that illusion had been admonishing him. That's right. I have to trust everyone, and myself. Watase turned off the still-running faucet. Looks like I was just jumping at shadows for a minute there. Watase finally realized that he'd regained his composure, and that his headache was now gone. By the time he left the bathroom, the doubts that had taken hold of him had completely vanished. Watase quickly checked his watch when he left the bathroom. The time was 1:19 p.m. He realized his last dose of AD had already worn off. Well, take another one. I hope everyone else remembers that they need to inject themselves with AD too. Watase administered himself with one of the ampules he had on him. But just 5 more hours or so to go until the lockdown lifts, huh? The road ahead was still long. To make things worse, he was so tired that his body felt like lead at this point. Now that he thought about it, Watase realized he'd only accumulated 4 hours worth of memories since he woke up. In other words, 5 hours was longer than the life Watase could remember so far. Watase walked down the hallway as he felt frustration towards the whole situation, then suddenly heard an unfamiliar voice. Don't get any closer. The voice appeared to be coming from just past the corner in the hallway right up ahead. He then heard yet another voice echoing. Why are you trying to run away from us? It appeared to be Ennis. Ooh. Who's Teach talking to? He could tell from the voice that it probably wasn't June or Kazumi. Watase peeked around the corner to see what was going on. Isn't that... Only to find Salyu standing in front of Ena. Watase immediately held his breath and listened in on their conversation. What are you even doing here in the first place? I could ask you the same. Why are you here, Ena? I didn't expect to see you here after you paid no heed to the information we gave you yesterday. Information we gave you? What did you tell her? Didn't I tell you back then to leave the rest up to the adults? It's exactly as I said. Yeah, I guess Ena does know these kids. Is she legit? Huh. Ena claims she was summoned here. Is she a researcher here? Or is she actually their teacher? Huh. Alright. What do I want to do with Ena's dating sim value? No, you're right. If the kid is asking why she came here, that means she's probably not a researcher. Huh. Okay. So we've just been presented with some sort of new information. The kids do know Ena, and she's in some sort of position where they trust her enough to tell her about something bad. So if she's not their teacher, and I'm not convinced she is yet, she could be a reporter. Huh. She could be a reporter. This music has taken me out of the game a little bit. Okay. Let's max out Ena's dating sim value. So basically, this is what you were up to. What are they talking about? It didn't sound like Salyu was talking to Ena the way a student would to a teacher. And the details of their conversation felt private. Watase almost walked out into the open on instinct, but he stopped himself at the last moment. He remembered how Salyu had abruptly run away from him last time. Why are they both facing towards the camera if they don't know I'm here? Is it just to get the moe eyes on screen? For now, I should trust Teach and watch how things play out. Ena then resumed the conversation. I'll tell you the details later. Anyway, why don't you come with us? It's too dangerous to act alone right now. I refuse. Why? Mashiro said your heart was closed. I trust her judgment. Heart was closed? Wait, Miss Toba is with you? Where is she? She's not with me now. What do you mean? Salyu didn't answer. Is she dead? Ena soon started to grow impatient. I admit that I've been keeping my heart closed, yes. That said, I don't have a choice in the matter. However, I'm on your side. Can't you trust me on that? Sayu paused for what felt like forever, then spoke as if she made up her mind. Her heart is closed. Does that mean she knows anti-psychic, anti-mind-reading techniques? Huh. Okay. She knows anti-mind reading techniques. Huh. Sayu paused for what felt like forever, then spoke as if she'd made up her mind. Anna, I will warn you about one thing out of consideration for Natsuhiko. Be careful of that captain. He's a dangerous man. Consideration for Natsuhiko. Is this Miyoko Tenkawa? Is this Natsuhiko's mom? I think this might be Miyoko Tenkawa. Huh. What if Yuri is setting out their location because they can't read minds, maybe because of AD? The AD prevents people from reading minds, maybe? There's an interesting thought. That could be why she was opposed to the AD, and it lends credence to the psychic mushroom theory I had, that they're immune to radiation. Be careful of that captain. He's a dangerous man. Huh? Just then. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Watase instinctively rushed out from behind the corner. Sayu turned herself aside and started running off at that exact same moment. Miss Sonomiya, wait! Anna immediately gave chase. But Sayu pushed her away a second later. Ow! Watase caught Anna before she hit the ground. Sayu took that opportunity to run into the connecting passageway that led to the outer ring. And disappeared behind the security gate. Wait! Watase quickly picked up the pursuit, but then the security gate shut before his eyes. For crying out loud! Frustrated, Anna punched the closed gate. Watase quickly took out his card and opened the gate again. But Sayu was already long gone by then. Watase and Anna ran into B2 of Area 2's outer ring in pursuit of Sayu. But she wasn't anywhere to be seen. Where could she have gone? Let's look around. There's a high chance she's hiding in one of the nearby rooms. All right. Watase and Anna nodded at each other, then searched the nearby rooms. Watase couldn't help but voice his thoughts as he kept on opening random doors. But what did that girl mean when she said I was dangerous? She did say that, didn't she? Do you have any idea what she was talking about? Sorry, but no. I see. But I'm sure now that something happened between you and her, probably before you lost your memories. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. But I'm a rescue worker, you know. What would someone like me ever do to her? No point in asking me. Perhaps Miss Sonomiya is making some sort of misunderstanding or something. Watase then remembered the wound on Sayu's arm as she said that. I wasn't the one who gave her that wound, was I? But he couldn't think of any reason why he'd ever do that. The pair finished their search of the floor as Watase pondered that. Solyu was still completely nowhere to be found. Maybe she ran into another area. Teach, let's go after her. We can ask her all sorts of things if we find her. Wait, first things first. Why are you all by yourself? I thought we said we should avoid going off on our own as much as possible. Oh, right. You see, Moribe was... Watase then explained to Enna how June had gotten hurt. While they were at it, Watase and Enna synchronized their PDA's map data to share their search results. I see. So something like that happened to you guys too, huh? Were you with Kazumi? Yes. What happened to Kazumi? Wait, what do you mean too? Miss Tachibana's leg got hurt in an explosion while we were searching Area 3. Is that the explosion that cut her in half in the long, bad end that I ran into? A couple streams ago? An explosion? Yes, though we don't know what caused it. Anyway, is Tachibana okay? She's resting in the surveillance room and keeping an eye out on the cameras right now. She should be better, though. She should be better soon, though. I see. Watase breathed a sigh of relief, but Enna frowned. But, you know, don't you think the fact that 2 incidents like this happened in succession means that something really is going on behind the scenes here in Labo? Good point. Both Kazumi and June had been wounded in the same hour. It stunk too much to be a coincidence. It feels like there's an invisible enemy that's attacking us. But aimlessly fanning the flames of his anxiety wouldn't help a thing. He decided to focus on the pressing issue at hand first. But let's go after Solyu first. She might still be nearby for all we know. Yes. Enna nodded nervously, then broke off into a run with Watase. Watase and Enna were currently in Area 2's outer ring. Taking into account the state of things, Solyu had to have run to either Area 1 or the direction of Area 3. But they didn't know which way she'd gone. We have no choice. Let's split up. No, going alone is way too dangerous after everything that's happened. Then what should we... Just as Enna said that, she and Watase heard a sound coming from far off. That sound was... It came from this way. Let's go. Yeah, I think Enna might be Miyoko Tenkawa. Watase and Enna ran towards the source of the sound, Area 1. On their way, they heard yet another noise. There's no doubt about it. It came from the connecting passageway. The two of them followed the sound as quickly as they could. They ran through the connecting passageway and entered Area 1. Ah, Captain Kasasagi, look at this! Blood! Only to see red bloodstains scattered here and there. It's fresh. Is it Solyu's blood? The blood trail continued all the way to the stairwell. Let's follow it. Yeah. Watase and Enna ran over to the stairwell. The emergency staircase was collapsed as it had been earlier, leaving only a room full of debris. But Solyu wasn't there. And at the end of the scattered blood trail was a vinyl bag full of a red liquid. Huh. The bag's label read AB. Oh, it's from the blood storage room. Was this meant to lead us off course? Isn't this a blood transfusion pack? What's something like that doing here? Watase and Enna stood there in confusion, only for the fire door behind them to shut a second later. Oh, are we about to die? Taken aback with surprise, Watase tried to open the door, but he couldn't. It only budged a few millimeters, like something was propped against it. Damn it, we got locked in? What is this, some kind of a trap? A trap? Watase looked around for an exit as he tried to recover from the shock. He quickly spotted something that caught his eye immediately. That's... Something was lying in the corner of the stairwell, a fire extinguisher. A fire extinguisher. Captain Kasasagi, is something wrong about that fire extinguisher or something? No. He didn't know why, but when he saw it, alarm bells went off in his head. Hold on a sec, Teach. Watase gently walked over to the extinguisher. He picked it up and examined it. What are you doing? I don't know, but I have a bad feeling about this. He turned it upside down and checked it out, only to find what appeared to be soldering marks on the bottom. Yeah, it's a bomb. Watase picked up a piece of debris. He pushed it against the soldering marks and tried opening up the extinguisher. He succeeded in removing the bottom of the extinguisher and found something strange inside. Oh yeah, Watase gasped when he saw it. A cord stuck out of what appeared to be a digital clock wrapped around several cylindrical objects. He could tell from a glance that it was a time bomb. Where did you get a time bomb, kids? What the hell? Why was there a bomb planted inside a fire extinguisher? Just as Watase finished voicing his shock. Uh-oh. Numbers appeared on the digital display. A strange beeping sound began echoing through the stairwell. The numbers are ticking down. Shit, I think it's been activated. Watase knew for sure that the constant beeps coming from the timer were a countdown to their deaths. Was this what the one who trapped us in here was after? Captain Kasasagi, isn't there any way you can defuse the thing? Defuse it? Don't ask the impossible. I don't have those kinds of skills. You can tear the detonator off. Anyway, we need to get out of here ASAP. But how are we supposed to do that? The staircase had crumbled, and the fire door was shut. It was just as Enna said, there was no way out. The bomb's timer was ticking down by the second. And then, the time between the beeps gradually grew shorter and shorter, as if to fuel Watase's and Enna's fear. Damn it! Watase body slammed the door out of desperation. Open! Open up, you goddamn son of a bitch! But it didn't budge an inch. Is this it? Is this where it ends? But just as Watase was about to give up, Captain Kasasagi, out of the way! Where did you get a gun? Enna shouted that, then took something out from under her clothes. Where did you get a gun? That object, shining with a black luster, was none other than a pistol. Enna pulled the trigger as that wave of sheer disbelief hit Watase. Why did it make laser pew-pew noises? The bullets successfully destroyed the door's hinges. Smash the door down now! Hurry! Right. Though Watase was still confused, he kicked the fire door with all his might. That's the wall! That's not the door, that's the wall! The door collapsed into the hallway, allowing the light on the other side to shine in. It's open! Okay, we will trust Enna. I love that your autocorrect changes Watase to wattage. That's pretty funny. We will trust Enna. It's open. Go! There's no time! Watase and Enna rushed into the hallway without a moment's delay. They fled down the hallway as fast as they could, pursued by the sound of beeping from the room they'd escaped. It's gonna blow! Watase dove towards Enna as that realization hit him. Teach, get down! Ah! Watase threw himself into the hallway in order to shield her with his body. And then, the beeping finally stopped. That definitely beeped more than 60 times. Over 10 seconds had passed since the beeping had stopped. But the only sound that filled the block was Watase and Enna's panting. False alarm? The two of them got off the floor and timidly timidly took a peek into the stairwell. Don't go back! However, no explosion had happened. It didn't explode. Why? Oh, what's that noise? I don't know, but it looks like we're still ticking. Was it a dud? Maybe, but something's weird here. Something about this feels different compared to everything else that's happened so far. Yeah. True, there have been several bizarre factors so far, like the sprinkler system being offline, or the passageway blocked by the electric cable and puddle, or the cargo lift being broken. Yeah, but this time it's worked in our favor. What's the deal with that? But unlike all of those, there had been a clear malice behind this incident. But that was a bit of a sloppy job, wasn't it? Watase looked at the kicked-down fire door. There was something that appeared to be a metal bar lying next to it. That must have been what had been holding back the door. It felt very improvised on the spot for a trap. And on top of that, the bomb in question hadn't detonated. If the one who'd set the whole thing up had been trying to kill Watase and Enna, then they'd failed completely. Was there some reason they didn't spend much time on prepping it? They could have just wanted to fuck with us. Unlikely, but still. Watase's thoughts were suddenly interrupted by the sound of footsteps approaching. Who's there? He turned around to find June running towards him. Hell yeah, welcome back. Captain, Miss Tsubakiyama. Oh, it's just you. She's like, what do you mean, just you? Hey, what's with the cold reception? I hauled my injured ass over here on the double as soon as I heard that loud bang or whatever. And this is what I get? Another set of footsteps closed in as June said that. Hi, Ukita. They looked up to see Ukita running their way. Oh, you're all here. I heard a most peculiar sound. What happened? June and Ukita had both said more or less the exact same thing. Come to think of it. Watase looked at Enna's hands in surprise. Ukita and June did the same, then gasped. Miss Tsubakiyama? What are you doing with a pistol? Oh, this is, alright, Miyoko. You gonna spill? Enna's body froze, then she took a step back. Teach, you took that gun out of your clothes, right? What? What's the meaning of this? Why do you have something like that with you? Wait, if she's Miyoko Tenkawa, shouldn't Ukita recognize her? Unless Ukita's not actually a researcher here. Yeah, I thought you were a teacher. Hold on a minute. You're all making a big misunderstanding. This pistol isn't mine. I found it here in Labo. Found it? Where? In the room with the cargo lift. It was lying in a corner there. How did we not notice that? Really? Huh. They did mention the departments don't mingle a lot, that's true. Huh. It's possible he doesn't know what Miyoko looks like. That's a good point. Okay. Okay. What are we going to do here? What are we going to do here? Do we trust her? I think she's Miyoko Tenkawa. I think she's Miyoko Tenkawa, and she does actually want to save the kids. So I don't think she killed the kid in the cargo lift room. And this pistol would not have enough bullets in it to kill those scientists in as gruesome a fashion as we saw them. I'm going to trust Miyoko. Really? You're really saying you found and took that pistol when we were performing CPR? But it's the truth. And I cringed at Ukita and Jun's harsh glares. Watase thought over the whole situation. Well, whatever. Let's trust her. Oh, that's a resounding... That's a real vote of confidence, Watase. That's really going to convince the others. Wait, you're believing her just like that? Well, we can't prove otherwise, so yeah, nothing we can do about that. Watase admonished June and turned back to Ena. But why did you keep that thing hidden up until now, Teach? That's the real problem here. I didn't feel like I had a choice back then. We'd just seen a body and found out that the escape route was a no-go. So I felt that I had to protect myself, no matter what it took. Now that she mentioned it, Ena had mentioned the killer several times right after that incident. She'd kept on insisting that the killer was still in the facility. Was that because she just found that gun? And because she was preparing to protect herself? Oh, did I just lose points with June? I wasn't paying attention. Ena continued as Watase pondered that. Then after that, it just never felt like the right time to bring it up. I'm sorry. I got an Ena and lost a June. Could you all please trust me? Ena said that in a feeble voice. Ukita and June replied with their voices laced in bitterness. Well, let's put aside whether I trust you or not. The fact is that there's a gun here, right? Indeed. Now that we know that, there is absolutely no way we can let you keep that pistol all to yourself. Then how about I hold on to it for now? What? I'm the oldest one here, so it's only logical that I should keep it, yes? How does that follow, Ukita? Are you two out of your minds? It's strange for me to have the gun, yes, but it's also too dangerous for either of you to have it. What? June, Ukita, and Ena were all glaring at each other fiercely. Oh boy, Watase felt a shiver run down his spine when he saw that. Oh boy, alright, let's give it to Moribei. What are they saying? Are they planning to start fighting each other for the gun? It was likely that a fight really would break out if he didn't act soon. Watase frantically rose his voice. It's raised his voice. Then you hold on to the gun, Moribe. Huh? Why Miss Moribe? You and the old man are civilians, right? So leaving it up to a professional like Moribe is the right choice. A professional? Now look here, you may be a professional rescue workers, but that does not make you professionals at handling a gun. Enough grumbling. Just give me that gun already. And thus a quarrel broke out. The four of them were soon shouting whatever they liked back and forth at each other. After having wasted more than enough time, Watase finally interrupted them. Wait a minute, guys. This isn't getting us anywhere. Oh, red. All right. Red choice. Okay, I'm going to leave my trust with Watase and June high. This will probably get a shot by Enna, though. I did just save. I'm going to leave my self-esteem and June trust high. Then what do you say we should do? Hold on, guys. If you're not going to stop arguing, then I'll just take it myself. Watase then tried to snatch the pistol from Enna. Oh, but then Ukita intervened. No, it'd be safer for me to hold on to it instead of you. Miss Tsubakiyama, give it to me, now! Hold on, I said I was the one who was going to hold on to it, didn't I? Cut it out, you guys. Ukita and June reached for Enna's pistol. She's going to shoot one of them. The three of them then began fighting over the gun. Hey, that's enough. Stop fighting, guys. Watase grew impatient and tried to tear his three companions, now practically wrestling each other for the gun, off of each other. Just then, Watase heard a dry sound, followed by what felt like something punching him straight in the heart. He looked down and saw a small hole had been bored in the dead center of his chest. What? When he said that, a gurgling sound echoed from his throat. Something welled up and clogged his trachea. It hurt. Watase coughed it up. It was blood. Why? Just then, he felt a heat slowly but steadily spread around his lungs. He was then assaulted with scorching pain a second later. Ugh! Watase groaned and grabbed his chest. His palm was soaked with warm, dark red blood. Captain! No, this can't be! Watase looked closer to find that all three of their hands were wrapped around the gun, and that the muzzle was pointed straight at him for some reason. Ugh. Watase vomited blood again. He felt strength leaving the core of his body a moment later. He fell to his knees. His body then lurched forward. When his cheek came into contact with the cold floor, a chill rapidly spread throughout his entire body. Ugh. Watase's energy grew fainter with each time he vomited blood. June was desperately shouting something right above him. Enna was doing the same, but their words merely sounded like white noise ringing in Watase's ears. And everything goes dark, and you die. Just then, the light suddenly faded from his eyes. His consciousness sank into darkness. And then, as Watase lay there, not knowing if he'd been shot by accident or on purpose, his heart stopped. Everything goes dark, and you die. Slay the Princess is tied for seventh highest Metacritic score out of all 2023 games. The result of Watase mishandling the gun situation by trying too hard to have things his way. You may be able to avert this fate by setting the other members' senses higher than Watase is at the SSS branch right before this ending. But yeah, I made a Slay the Princess joke, but play Slay the Princess. It's really goddamn good. It probably belonged on my top 50 games of all time list, but I was still thinking about it when I made the list. All right. I'm going to take a quick break, because that's a good pause point. I'll be back in a few minutes, guys. So I just noticed down here in Copyright Yeti / Regista and Lemniska / Sekai Project, Lemniska, in the Somnium files, the talent agency is named Lemniscate. Is that a reference to something? Like, what does Lemniska... is it just a reference to this company? Or is Lemniska and Lemniscate a reference to some concept? Or an actual word outside of... Lemniscate is something that appeared in the Infinity Trilogy. Ah, okay. So they're both references to a previous set of games. Excuse me. All right. Lemniska is a fan translation group that translated Ever 17 and eventually became an official translation team. Ah, cool. Pretty cool. Oh, I didn't save before. Huh, okay. Well, let's... Alright, I didn't save before the, there we go, okay. Alright. Set mine below everybody else. Oh, I could also avoid the bad ending in that previous choice? Huh. Alright, well, let's set my self-esteem value below everybody's dating sim values. Then what do you say we should do? It's too dangerous to keep this thing around. Let's destroy it or throw it away. But if we destroy it, then none of us will have a way to defend ourselves in the chance that there's a terrorist hiding down here, right? And throwing it away is not an option either. Someone else will just pick it up eventually. The gears in Watase's mind rotated at high speed, and then produced him the best answer. I know, what about this? First, we'll take the magazine out of the gun. Then we'll take all the bullets out of that. Then that'll leave us with 3 parts. A gun without bullets, an empty magazine, and bullets with nothing to use them with. And we give them to each of the 3 people. Then we'll give 1 of each to 3 of us for safekeeping. You're saying we'll split it up? Yeah, we'll make it useless. Everyone's eyes widened at Watase's proposal. Watase may have sounded composed on the outside, but he was panicking on the inside. This gun just had to show up when everyone was already unstable as it was. It's too dangerous to keep around. I've got to resolve this whole thing peacefully. Watase kept speaking in the gentlest voice he could in order to hide his fears. That's right. Then, in the extremely rare chance that a terrorist or something does show up, we can agree to put the gun back together to defend ourselves, right? Yeah, that's a good point. And likewise, if a terrorist doesn't show up, then none of us has an advantage over the other. We can all rest easy this way. But, please go with it. I want to get this stupid issue over with as quickly as possible. Silence reigned over the group for a while. Anna soon let out an exasperated sigh. All right, I'll do as you say. Then took the magazine out of the gun. She then awkwardly took the bullets out of the magazine and the gun's chamber. There were 11 of them in total. That's gonna come into play later. Will this do? Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. But who'll hold on to what? It doesn't really matter, but how about this? Old man, you'll get the gun. Teach, you'll have the magazine, and Moribe, you hold on to the bullets. Wait, what about you? I'll pass. I'm the one who suggested this, so it's better that I don't take any of it. I see. Well, then I suppose we can indeed relax. How many bullets are there in a magazine usually? It depends on the gun. Magazine-fed pistols can have anywhere from 10 to 20, depending on how big the gun is and how big the bullets are, as far as I'm aware. I see. Then I suppose we can indeed relax. I'm cool with that too. I agree. Then let's split it up. Anna then gave Ukita the gun, then the bullets to June. Okay, problem solved now, right? Yep, we're A-okay now. Well, I'm glad you guys are happy. Indeed, I feel better this way. Yes. The three of them seemed placated for the time being. It could have been used in the other murders, that 7 other bullets already used unaccounted for. We don't know how many bullets were in the magazine to begin with, or how many it could hold. We don't know how many shots Miyoko fired into the door frame. And we don't know if whoever had the gun before had extra magazines. Why did the person who murdered the kid throw away a full gun? Why did the person who murdered the kid throw away a full gun? Is Miyoko telling the truth about where she found it? Did she have it all this time instead? The three of them seemed placated for the time being. But Watase was thinking about something completely different. Why did the gun already have bullets in it when Teach found it? If the gun had belonged to the terrorist, June mentioned, then why was it lying by the lift? Yeah, seriously. Why did it just fade out the gun and bring in the gun again? Oh, I suppose it's faded out and bringing in a gun with an empty, without the magazine in it. If it had been empty, then it would have made more sense. That would have meant the terrorist had probably discarded it on purpose. But who would ever get rid of a loaded gun? Then that would mean that the owner hadn't gotten rid of it, but rather dropped it. Or maybe they left it there? Was it in order to give it to us? The gun was now split up into 3 parts. Watase wondered if this had all been a trap someone set up to drive a rift between the group. But everything was stable for the time being. Now the group had to pull themselves together and continue with the search, whether they liked it or not. Watase addressed the others with that thought in mind. Okay then, looks like all of us except for Tachibana are here then. Our team got here from circling around from Area 6. Teach, your team find anything? No, we couldn't locate Miss Yuri or the others, and we didn't see any AD either. What about you, old man? It's only been 20 minutes since I split up from you guys, hasn't it? Of course I didn't find anything. Like always, their search had yielded nothing. I see. Then did any of you notice anything strange, aside from the bomb that didn't work? Watase said that as a way to basically say, did anyone spot Salyu? But then June gave a surprising answer. Now that you mention it, I did. It's nothing major, but that floral scent has suddenly disappeared for some reason. Floral scent? Huh? Watase was totally confused by her comment. Hang on, I need to do something real quick. All right, back. What floral scent? Well, you know, it's been hanging around here and there in the facility. You didn't smell it? Wait, was there something like that? Watase then glanced at Ukita and Enna. Ah, now that you mention it, I do recall smelling that. Huh? Ooh, I don't think I ever did. Two contradicting statements. It just didn't make sense to Watase. The four of them, plus Kazumi and Yuri, had traveled through the entire facility together, yet Watase and Enna didn't smell anything, while June and Ukita did. I wish I could smell floral scents, but with my sinus tumors not happening for a while, I cannot wait for the surgery. What are you talking about? Where did you smell that? No, seriously, it's not a big deal, so forget about it. Anyway, what about you guys? You notice anything? Yeah. Watase said that and changed his train of thought. Actually, Teach and I spotted Sol Yu earlier, but she ran off again. Again? Why? I don't know. Sol Yu's words crossed his mind for a moment. Be careful of that captain. He's a dangerous man. But Enna didn't bring that up, perhaps out of consideration for Watase. I don't know why she ran off, but she still looked lively from what I could see. I think she's been regularly giving herself AD. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, that's a silver lining, that's for sure. Indeed, that was the one thing I was worried about. Everyone nodded at Ukita's comment. Though that said, that doesn't necessarily mean she has enough AD. She probably ran off in the direction of Area 6. Let's look for her together. What about Kazumi? What should we do about the lieutenant? Yeah! She said she'd head back to the neuroscience laboratory once she got better. Then that's perfect, seeing how Area 6 is right next to the neuroscience laboratory and all. Then let's continue the search, shall we? Yes, let's get going. The group then started to walk off. Enna was walking in front of the others. She was fiddling around with her PDA, probably to check her map. Watase walked up to her and whispered in her ear. Teach. Yeah, you scared the shit out of her, Watase. Enna turned around in surprise. She put away her PDA and spoke in a sharp voice. Don't sneak up on me like that. You scared the living daylights out of me. Oh, sorry. But anyway, I couldn't help but notice you didn't tell Moribe or the old man about what Sol Yu said. You fool, of course I didn't. It would just make things unnecessarily complicated. That's the same reason I didn't tell them about the bomb. Okay, we should have told them about the bomb. After all, it seems it was my pistol that made everyone so furious. I see. But you know, we need to constantly keep that bomb incident and what happened with Miss Sonomiya in mind. Huh? There must be a reason behind Miss Sonomiya running away from us that we don't know about. Someone had to have planted that bomb, that's for sure. We might overlook something vital if we lower our guards, something that may cost us our lives. If it turns out that Watase is a terrorist and he planted bombs and shit all around the facility during the rescue efforts, that's going to be a hell of a twist. I'm not sure I would like that. Enna was speaking with a type of intensity that she'd never used before. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, let's trust her. A silent edge, different from all her back talk and hysteric shouting, could be felt from her. Teach, what are you... I'm telling you to doubt everything around you. That includes the people nearby, this facility, and occasionally everything you see. Your own preconceptions may be tricking you, after all. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Now that's a good boy. That's what I like to see in a student. Don't you good boy me. I'm not your student, you know. But since you don't have any memories, that means I must have more life experience than you do, for now. Maybe this will make me sound arrogant, but just interpret it as your elder's opinion in that case. The group arrived at Area 6 while they were talking. How old is Miyoko? How old are the kids? Watase began handing out orders once they arrived at the factory. We're forming up into teams again. Moribe, you're with Teach. Old man, you're with me. Search whenever you can. Once you're done, return to the neuroscience laboratory for the time being. Roger. Then we'll cover the factory, okay? Got it. I suppose I have no objections. All right then. Be careful, guys. You sure you're a Twitch streamer? You're not thirsty enough for mommy types? It has to come from the right person. And I don't like being talked down to. Very often. I mean, Lady D can talk down to me all she likes. All right then, be careful, guys. With those words, Watase then parted ways within his team. Area 6, Inner Ring, B2. Watase and Ukita were searching the area. But they couldn't find anything. There's nothing here. Then I suppose all we can do is check B1, yes? Yeah. They headed for the emergency staircase. The staircase in that dim stairwell had collapsed. Yes, we've been here before. You don't need to remind us. Also, the background is here. The collapsed stairwell background is here. We can tell. But the rope Watase had used to climb up earlier was still right where he'd left it. Does this mean that we have to climb this rope in order to get upstairs? Yep, hope you got some nice upper body strength. Yeah, can you climb it? Highly unlikely. I have absolutely zero confidence when it comes to climbing. Well, that's okay. Just get on my back and I'll... Watase realized something before he finished speaking. He was feeling quite tired. Could he really climb up the rope with Ukita on his back in this shape? If the two of us fall together by any chance, we'll both get badly hurt. Actually, I think it'd be safer if I didn't climb with you on my back. I see. Then what do you propose? Split up, gang! I'll go by myself. You go back to the factory and help Moribe and Teach with their search. Roger. Then rendezvous with us in the factory when you're done. Yeah. You be careful yourself. Ukita nodded, then left the stairwell. Okay then. Watase promptly climbed the rope to the upper floor. Area 6, Inner Ring, B1. Watase began searching the block by himself. But he didn't find Yuri or any of the other survivors in the rooms. Time was passing by, and he still hadn't secured any more AD. And after all that work to get up here, he figured he should go to the factory and meet up with Ukita and the others. But just as he thought that, the PC monitor in the room suddenly caught Watase's eye. He hadn't noticed it the last time he'd been there. The monitor was still on. It appeared the PC was frozen. Ooh! Let's see what they were doing! On the screen was what appeared to be a text file that someone had been editing. Uh-huh. That's Natsuhiko, Yui, and what's-her-face? Oh, no, never mind. Deceased. Never mind, these don't stand for their names. Test subjects in IGF2R gene type. Subject A, hereditary IGF2R gene abnormality type S, deceased. Subject N, hereditary IGF2R gene abnormality type S. Subject Y, IGF2R gene type 4. Showed no signs of genetic mutation via WX particles, discarded. Subject Y2, acquired IGF2R gene abnormality type S. Natural IGF2R gene abnormality type C. Y's discarding. No precedent regarding releases. Expected problems. Memory recovery, etc. Observation targets in IGF2R gene type. Special observation target NA, hereditary type S. NA2, acquired gene abnormality type S. Natural gene abnormality type C. Special observation target U, gene type 4. Ka, hereditary gene type D. Ma, hereditary gene type B. Ma, level 5. Consider irradiation test. Na, subject N, April 7th, 2021. Wait. We've heard about April 7th, 2021 before. Where did we hear about that? Where did we hear about that? NA is not Nagisa. Fire occurred in Labo 9 years ago. Okay. Two kids had somehow snuck in. Subject Y, U, September 10th, 2030. Nothing he saw on that screen meant anything to Watase. Alright. Alright, Watase, come on, man. And yet, he felt a mysterious chill run through him the moment he saw all those entries for some reason. Test subjects. At the exact moment he muttered that, strange images flickered through Watase's brain. I think it's because they're basically scared of those people. She was ostracized by others because of that power, even before that incident. What in God's name is this? Is that a head? Was that somebody's severed head? He didn't recognize any of those images. Perhaps they were remnants of his memories of the past. But they were accompanied by intense fear and unpleasant feelings that assaulted him. He didn't know why, but just being there was terrifying and made him disgusted enough to throw up. Watase left the room as if he were running away from it. Was Watase experimented on? I felt this before. He headed for the stairwell as he pondered when that was. As he descended the rope, he slowly began to realize it. It was fairly recently, wasn't it? No, a bit earlier than that. He searched for the truth behind his fear, and then he finally remembered just as he descended the rope. It was when he'd entered the contaminated zone to look for Yuri after she'd run off. Why did you do something so horrible to me back then? He remembered her saying that. That's right, now that I think about it. Yuri said something strange back then. Oh, Yuri is probably... Excuse me. Subject YU. He'd felt that same strange sense of dread back then for some reason. Why had he forgotten about it until now? Shocked, Watase watched as the Yuri in his memory spoke. Do you really not remember? A minute later and I would have died. I was really scared when I found myself trapped all alone in that sea of flames. Yuri, what are you talking about? If you don't know, then I don't know either. I don't know what to believe anymore. She was here 9 years ago. So Captain Kasasaki, please let me know your mind. Yuri said that and turned her palm towards Watase. Alright, there's that flash of the gun zombie. A strange image spread out right before him. That sight overlapped with Yuri. Huh? That was right. Yuri had indeed said all that. He'd completely forgotten about that encounter with her, even though it had only happened about an hour ago. Why did I... He thought about it, then suddenly gasped after a few seconds. Could it be that my memory impairment? Is it actually healing with time, but only getting worse instead? Watase shuddered at that thought. That did happen last stream. But that wasn't the only thing that horrified him. There was also the fact Watase had felt a clear fear for Yuri in that memory he just recovered. Why would I ever be scared of Yuri? Just then, even more incomprehensible words passed through Watase's brain as if to only confuse him further. The something us. The test subjects are numerous. Test subjects are dangerous. What the hell was that? What the hell were those words? I don't know them. I've never heard those words before. Watase drowned out those words, along with the unpleasant feelings he felt. Now, fearing the darkness and seeking light, he opened the door to the stairwell. What was that? But when faint light shone in from the outside, Watase felt a horrible shiver down his spine. He got the feeling that in the shadow of the debris of the emergency staircase, a blind spot that he hadn't paid attention to when climbing, something was hiding. Who's there? His heartbeat skyrocketed. Who's there? It appeared to be lying on the floor. Watase timidly peeked behind the shadow of the debris and found himself face to face with an unbelievable sight. Is it a dead Kazumi? Oh, dead Yuri! No. Watase's voice sounded empty. A small body lying on the ground. Eyes that had lost all light. Watase saw all of that. Yuri? She didn't respond even after he'd called her name. Her body didn't twitch. A single streak of dark red blood adorned her pale face. That blood had long since gone dry. Watase ran over to her. All the fear he'd been feeling a short time ago vanished in an instant. Yuri! Yuri! He sat Yuri up as he shouted her name, but her head dangled feebly. Is this going to be a game over? She wasn't breathing. Her body had gone cold. That was, without a doubt, Yuri's corpse. It can't be. Why? Why did something like this have to happen? There was no one who could answer that question. Watase instinctively held Yuri's ice-cold body close to his chest. And at that moment, memories of her passed through his head. Don't stop. Save her. He'd heard that voice in his head when he'd first seen her. It was at that moment that Watase had decided to do everything he could to protect her. So then, what's your name, Missy? But she was wary of him at first, preventing them from reaching a mutual understanding. Yet despite that, she started opening her heart to him little by little. Watase acted all in accordance with his desire to keep her safe. It feels like you're always worrying about me. Why is that? But when I first met you, I felt this mysterious yet powerful desire to save you. Those had been Watase's honest feelings. Thus, when the factory's ceiling collapsed, Watase acted without a moment's hesitation. Captain Kasasagi! Don't worry, Yuri. I'll save you. You can bet on that. He kept trying to protect her, no matter what was thrown his way. He'd tried to escape the facility so he could get her out to safety. But she'd run away. Then Watase had let her out of his sight because of some incomprehensible fear he'd felt for her. And now he'd finally found her again. Only to discover that the Yuri he'd last seen was gone forever. Why? Just when she finally started opening up to me a little. Fierce regret raged within him. Sorrow then filled his heart. The sound of a watch's hands ticking filled the otherwise silent room. And thus, before she could ever tell Watase anything about what she'd meant back then, the source of his fear for her, and what she'd been feeling about him the whole time, Yuri had fallen into eternal silence. Watase was in a daze for a while. He had no clue how long he'd been like that. Soon enough. Hey, get a hold of yourself already. How long are you going to space out for? Hurry up and get back to the others. Was that a hallucination? Watase finally came back to his senses after hearing the now familiar auditory hallucination. He realized he'd been strolling like a zombie through the inner ring's hallway without even being aware of it. He turned around and saw the door to the stairwell behind him. That's right. I have to tell everyone what happened, no matter how painful that may be. Watase mustered his nearly torn heart and headed for the factory. When he got there, he found Jun, Anna, and Ukita. Oh, Captain. You're looking really pale there. What's wrong? Everyone ran up to him. Ukita looked at his watch and spoke. You sure took quite some time. Did something happen? Watase answered in a shaky voice. Guys, please don't freak out when you hear this, but Yuri's dead. What? Everyone's eyes widened. Impossible. How could she be dead? Was it an accident? Was she murdered? I don't know, but I found her body. That's a fact. Where? Where did you find her? Come with me. It's this way. Watase took the others with him and headed back for the stairwell in the inner ring. She's right in here. Watase stopped in front of the stairwell. His companions all gulped. Was it a hallucination? Miss Yuri's here. I'm opening it up now. Okay. Watase paused as he felt cold sweat roll down his back, and then opened the door. But what? There was nothing there. Nothing but the wreckage of the collapsed staircase. Huh? Didn't you say there was a body here? Ukita and the others looked puzzled. By the time Watase could speak again, his voice was leaden with disbelief. That static flash means that was probably a hallucination. This can't be. Watase searched the cramped stairwell, but he couldn't find the body, no matter how hard he looked. The body's gone. What about the bloodstains? Ukita let out an exasperated sigh when he heard that. Good grief, are you sure you weren't just seeing things? I'm not lying. There really was a body here, I swear. There was a girl with blood pouring down her head. She was dead no matter how you looked at. Blood? But I don't see any bloodstains anywhere. It was a hallucination. Watase was rendered speechless at that. He just confirmed with his own eyes that there were indeed no body or bloodstains anywhere to be found. Perhaps the absence of the body you allegedly found can be explained as your perception itself being wrong. What? You hit your head hard enough to induce amnesia. That means your brain has been damaged in some way, yes? Watase felt shivers down his spine. For Ukita's theory made total sense. Then did that mean that the auditory hallucinations he'd been hearing for the past few hours, and his constant headaches and nausea, were the result of brain damage? To make matters worse, he'd also been suffering from radiation damage on top of that. Has my brain been damaged past the point of no return? Watase desperately tried to find another plausible explanation for everything, but I can't think of anything. In the first place, he didn't even have any clue why he had amnesia to begin with, or what had happened before he lost his memories. Meaning that thinking about his condition wouldn't help him at all. Shit! If only I could remember what the situation just before I lost my memories was like. If only I could remember what happened a few hours ago, then I might be able to finally answer some of my questions. Like the truth behind my condition and what's been happening in this facility today. It felt like he was totally lacking in the knowledge he needed to understand all that. Just then, Ukita's voice interrupted his thoughts. Captain Kasasagi, are you listening? Watase gritted his teeth and mustered a response. No, hold on, this still doesn't make any sense. How so? Maybe I only thought Yuri was dead, but she was actually still alive. What about the bloodstains, man? She must have started breathing again and went off somewhere after I left. Do you really think she could have done all that in just a span of a few minutes? Look, let's just split up and search the area already. Loreweaver and I will cover B1. Teach, old man, you take care of B2. Okay. Well, if you say so, then of course I'll obey, but do we even have time to be wasting on this? Fine, then just for 5 minutes. All of us will gather back here in 5 minutes. Though they were reluctant, Watase managed to persuade everyone. Thus, they began the search for Yuri. But no matter how hard they searched, they couldn't find Yuri anywhere. The group reunited at the stairwell 5 minutes later. We didn't find her. Watase couldn't say anything in the face of everyone's stares. That was clearly a waste of time. No matter how you spin it, Captain Kasasagi was either lying, seeing things, or just misunderstanding something. Captain Kasasagi, the ghost was just withered grass has been added. What? Captain Kasasagi, there's this old saying, the ghost was just withered grass. I'm sure you were so desperate to find Yuri that you just mistook a shadow or something for her. I guess you're right. He couldn't press his own belief on them any longer. Either way, it's true that we wasted time. Watase reluctantly withheld his opinion and changed gears. Think about it another way. It's actually better if I was just misunderstanding things, because that means she's not dead. Indeed, I'm sure she's still alive somewhere. Yes, precisely. Watase said that to convince himself. But something was clearly happening here. Watase continued talking as he felt that ominous premonition in his mind. Let's head back to the neuroscience laboratory for now. Yes, it's already been over an hour since we left, after all. Indeed, that would be for the best. And the lieutenant might be waiting for us there, you know? The group thus headed on over towards the neuroscience laboratory. But Kazumi wasn't there. Well, let's check the camera room. Instead, the group was greeted with a shocking sight. What the hell? All the AD's gone. It wasn't what they saw that was strange. It was what they didn't see that was strange. The ADs! The AD that they'd left in the neuroscience laboratory was all gone. I told you this would happen! This can't be happening. All they found were torn scraps of paper scattered on the floor. Watase picked one of them up. It read, "To Mr. Tenkawa." They were the ripped-up remnants of Enna's note. Why? Everyone was frozen in shock. Oh no, now we only have one AD each. Without AD, we'll be exposed to the radiation. Watase couldn't speak. He quickly checked his Procyon to find that it read 5958 MSV. The radiation levels throughout the entire facility were all probably past the first danger standard by this point. Kazumi had indeed managed to survive for an hour on only half of an AD before, but she also mentioned that she hadn't been feeling well during that time. Plus, the radiation levels were completely different then. If things didn't turn for the better soon, it was most likely only a matter of time before they exceeded the second danger standard. And the last time I was in a contaminated zone, he'd suffered from intense headaches and nausea after only a few minutes in there. He shuddered at the thought of that happening to everyone else. Damn it, how the hell did this happen? Bizarre events just kept happening one after the other. Watase gritted his teeth. Ukita then spoke up. How, you ask? It's obvious. Someone stole the AD, that's how. Oh, we're trusting June or not? Okay. Let's keep our June dating sim value high. He's right, and what's more, the culprit must be one of us. We were split up. June scanned the others with a sharp look in her eye. Wait just a minute, Moribe. Do you realize what you just said? But that's the only possibility I can think of. Well, what about the kids taking it? I mean, there's no one else here aside from us and those kids, right? But I don't think Natsuhiko and the others would go steal the AD without saying a thing. I know them. They're good kids who would never tear up a note like that. Tearing up the note is not the operative thing here, June. Good kids who would never consign people to death is what you should be saying. So it's only natural to think that one of us is the culprit. Hey, who was it that went off on their own? Can you all prove your alibis? Watase was dumbfounded at the fierce look June was giving them all. Just then, Enna sighed and spoke. True, we don't have alibis. Teach. Me, Captain Kasasaki, and Mr. Ukita were all off on our own for a period of time. But you know, you don't have an alibi either, Miss Moribe. Enna gave June a pointed glare. Huh? There's no one who can prove what you were doing between the time you got hurt and when you regrouped with the rest of us, correct? What are you talking about? I was resting in that room. The captain can back me up on that one. I can't, but I trust you. But what if you got back on your feet right away? And besides, they often say that the accuser is usually the most suspicious one. What? What are you getting at? Are you actually trying to say I'm the one who hid the AD? We can't deny that possibility. Don't screw with me, you bitch. Oh, okay. Anna trembled in the face of June's mad roar. What would I possibly have to gain from that? I'm a rescue worker, for God's sake. The pay's shit, the job's hell, and it's the most unappreciated line of work there is on top of that. But you know why we do it? It's because we want to help people. Every time we go to work, it feels like we're diving straight into hell itself, and we've faced countless near-death experiences. But we do this job because we want to rescue people. And yet you have the goddamn nerve to imply that I, June Moribang, a member of Sirius, stole the AD? Man, she is going off. What the fuck's wrong with you? Oh man, June. June gave Anna the deadliest glare she could, then started panting heavily once she finished talking. Tears were pouring down her cheeks. Anna was absolutely speechless. She looked away in regret. I'm sorry. You really are putting your life on the line in that job, aren't you? That's right. We're always prepared for that risk. Just as June said that in a shaky voice. But you can't say for sure that all rescue workers think the same way. He's looking at me! Ukita interjected. Old man? Work ethics and personal ideology don't always coincide. There are those who value their own principles and stances above work. Alright. Am I trusting the kids? Ooh. Do I trust the kids? Huh. Okay. Do I trust the kids? By the way, get another point towards Anna being Miyoko Tenkawa. She and Natsuhiko share the exact same hair color. Do we like their vibes? Yeah. Huh. I'll put faith in June's opinion of them. Then are you trying to say that there's a traitor in Sirius? Perhaps. You ungrateful bastard. Are you forgetting that we saved your damn life just last week? Now, hold on. What I'm doubting is... I got a point with Anna and June. Watase couldn't take it anymore and shouted as another quarrel began to break out. Enough! Cut it out, guys. I've had enough of watching all you bickering with each other. Why is it that hard for you guys to have a bit more faith in each other? So what if the note was torn up? Maybe the survivors just took the AD. You ever think of that? Why do you just keep doubting each other without any proof? Don't you see how wrong that is? But how are we supposed to find proof of who did it? The surveillance room. The surveillance room? Teach, Tachibana is checking the cameras while she's resting in the surveillance room, right? Yes. Then she's probably watching over the facility with those cameras. But most of the surveillance cameras are broken, remember? Most, not all of them. Which means that it's worth a shot to check them out. At least it's better than sticking around here and yelling our heads off. Jun, Enna, and Ukita were all silent. Eventually, Jun spoke up in a soft voice. Yeah, you're right. Let's go on over to the surveillance room, guys. But if I ever find out that one of you is the culprit, I swear I'll... Jun surveyed the others with a fierce glare. No, there's no way that one of us did it. We're going there so we can find proof that we can trust each other. The group then hurried on over to the surveillance room. Alright, I'm going to save. And then I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back in a minute, guys. All right, sorry guys, but I'm going to have to cut the stream here. I've got something I got to do. Really sorry about this. Shy, why don't we get together for another stream date later in the month? We'll figure that out. But I've got to get off now. This game is taking a turn for the interesting. Taking a turn for the very interesting. Yeah, let me... Where's the game? Okay. Whoops. All right. So yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.